The animal curled up on your sofa right now is a predator, not a former predator, a predator. It shares the same killing instincts as a lion, the same body design as a tiger, and the same eyes that once hunted in a world without a single human being. Its journey to your living room did not begin in a home or a farm or even a human city. It began over 50 million years ago. This is the complete story of how a wild hunter became the most popular pet on Earth, and why, in truth, it never really let us tame it. To understand the house cat, we first have to forget the house. Forget the food bowl, the warm windowsill, the name it answers to. We have to travel back to a planet still recovering from the death of the dinosaurs. Because the ancestors of every cat alive today, every lion, every tiger, and the small creature watching you right now were not the animals you would recognize. They were small, sharp-toothed hunters climbing through ancient forests millions of years before the first human ever stood upright. Over the next few minutes, we will follow that single bloodline forward, through an age of giants, through a dynasty of knife-toothed kings, through the deserts of the ancient Near East, all the way to the patch of sunlight on your floor. Welcome to the 50 million year journey of the house cat. 66 million years ago, an asteroid ended the age of the dinosaurs. In the world that followed, mammals were free to grow, to spread, and to specialize. Among them was a group of small, slender, tree-dwelling hunters, the early carnivorous mammals from which cats, dogs, and bears would all eventually descend. For tens of millions of years, this lineage experimented. And then, around 25 million years ago, in the forests of ancient Europe, evolution produced an animal we would finally recognize. Its name is Proailurus, which means, quite simply, before the cat. Scientists also call it the dawn cat. Proailurus was roughly the size of a large house cat. It had a long tail for balance, sharp retractable claws, and forward-facing eyes built to judge distance before a pounce. Look closely, and you are looking at the blueprint. The silent, patient ambush hunter. That design was finished 25 million years ago, and it has barely changed since. From Proailurus came a descendant called Pseudolurus, and Pseudolurus did something its ancestor never could. It spread. It crossed Eurasia, and over an ancient land bridge, it walked into North America. The cat family had gone global. Pseudolurus is the crossroads of our entire story, because from this single animal, the cat family split into two great branches. The first branch became the sabre-toothed cats, a dynasty of specialized killers armed with curved fangs longer than a human hand. For millions of years, they were among the most fearsome predators on Earth. And then, at the end of the last ice age, every last one of them vanished. The second branch took a quieter path. These were the conical-toothed cats, the ancestors of every cat that survives today. Lions and lynxes, leopards and panthers, and one small, unremarkable line of desert hunters that no one at the time would have looked at twice. Our story follows the survivors. Among those survivors, a group of small cats emerged, the genus Felis, and in the dry scrublands and deserts, stretching across the ancient Near East and North Africa, lived one particular member of that group, the African wildcat. It was a little larger than the cat you know, sandy-colored, faintly striped, perfectly camouflaged against dust and stone. It was solitary. It was fiercely territorial. It was a flawless hunter of small prey, mice, birds, lizards. And here is the part that matters most. Genetically, the African wildcat is almost identical to the cat in your home. Not similar, almost identical. Every domestic cat on planet Earth, all of them descends from this one wild animal. Not the lion, not the European wildcat, the African wildcat of the ancient Near East. The only question left was this: what would ever bring a solitary desert hunter close to a human being? The answer arrived around 10,000 years ago, and it arrived with one of the greatest changes in human history: farming. In the Fertile Crescent, people stopped wandering and began to grow grain. And for the first time ever, humans did something irresistible to the natural world. They gathered food into one place and they stored it. Those grain stores attracted mice and rats by the thousands, and the rodents in turn attracted the wildcats. Now here is the crucial truth. No human being set out to domesticate the cat. No one captured one, or bred it, or trained it. Instead, the boldest wildcats, the ones calm enough to tolerate people, discovered an endless supply of prey around human settlements. The humans, meanwhile, gained free and tireless pest control. Both sides won. So the cat simply stayed. The cat, in other words, domesticated itself. It walked into our world on its own terms, and it never surrendered them. This is the reason your cat still feels so independent. We never bred the wildness out of it the way we did with the dog. We never had to. The cat was never truly conquered. It was merely persuaded. We can even point to the moment the bond became visible. On the island of Cyprus, archaeologists uncovered a grave around 9,500 years old. Inside it, a human being buried side by side with a cat. That detail changes everything. Cyprus had no native cats. The only way a cat could be on that island is if people carried it there by boat across open sea, which means that almost 10,000 years ago, a cat was already valued enough to be a companion in life and in death. Then came ancient Egypt. The Egyptians lifted the cat to the level of the divine, protected by law, linked to the goddess Bastet, honored in vast numbers. But Egypt did not create the domestic cat. Egypt inherited an animal that was already tame and made it sacred. And from there, on trading ships, hunting rats in the cargo hold, the cat sailed outward across the Mediterranean, along every trade route, and eventually into every corner of the world. And so at last, the predator reached your sofa. But here is the strange and beautiful truth of the house cat. Of every animal that humans have ever lived alongside, the cat is the one we change the least. Its body is still the 25-million-year-old design of the dawn cat. Its instincts are still those of a desert hunter. When your cat pounces on a toy, stares through a window, or vanishes for the night, you are not watching a pet misbehave. You are watching 50 million years of evolution, quietly running its course. We did not conquer the cat. We offered it a warm room and an easy meal, and it accepted while keeping every weapon, every instinct, and every ounce of independence it ever had. If this journey through deep time was worth your while, consider subscribing. Next time on Evolve Story, we follow the other branch of that ancient split, the knife-toothed kings, the sabre-toothed cats. They were among the most perfect hunters this planet has ever produced. So why is every single one of them gone? Until then, look at your cat.
The domestic cat,
You are sharing your home with 50 million years of history.
bathed in the fading golden light.